I have something very exciting to share with you guys. WeCreat just sent me their brand new Auto Passthrough Feeder. It's basically like a conveyor belt that allows you to laser engrave really long projects with your WeCreat. There's two versions that you can buy. The basic one lets you laser engrave projects that are 63 inches long. The all-in-one kit that I have here lets you laser engrave projects up to 145 inches long. That's over 10 feet. Both versions let you engrave projects about 15 inches wide. In this video, I'll be unboxing the Auto Passthrough Feeder and showing you how to assemble it. It has several different design features that lets you make all different size projects. I'm really excited about this because I like to make lots of big projects. So with this, I'll be able to make big, huge welcome signs that I could sell. I can make big signs for the wall. I have a really cool project that I'm super excited about where I'm going to make gigantic wooden flowers and I'm going to put them all over my craft room wall. I can't wait to put this WeCreat conveyor to the test. If you're interested in purchasing one of these Auto Passthrough Feeders, I will leave a link to it down below in my video description. Since I am a part of their affiliate program, I will earn a small commission if you make a purchase through my link at no additional cost to you. Now let's open up the box and see what's inside. This is the first thing on top. This is your instruction manual, which is basically a QR code that you scan with your phone that brings you to a website that tells you what to do. Inside there is a whole bunch of metal bars. These are the tracks that the material rides on. There's a bunch of little wheels, just like you would expect with a little conveyor belt. The difference between the basic kit and the all-in-one kit is that the all-in-one kit comes with more of these tracks so you can make longer projects. So if you're trying to figure out which kit is best for you, think about how long of a project you want to make. I don't know how to explain any of this to you because I don't know what any of it is yet because I need to scan the QR code and figure it out. But this is what we have inside the box. Basically lots of long metal pieces. This is the WeCreat Feeder. It's big, nice and wide so you can do wide projects. Looks like we have a cable over here. This probably plugs in to your WeCreat. Everything is packaged so nice in between all the foam, so you shouldn't have any issues with it being damaged. Some hardware, spare parts, more long metal bars, an aluminum sheet. That's about it. Now let's try and put it together. Here's another look at everything that comes inside of the all-in-one Auto Passthrough Feeder kit. This is the front frame, this is the back frame, and these are all of the extension pieces. We're gonna start by taking out the left frame and the right frame, which is underneath the front and the back frame. So remove these pieces, you'll find your left and right frame. Left frame, right frame, and inside of these is some more parts. So this says conveyor roller, and this says aluminum lamella slat. Here we have the back frame, conveyor rail. I love how everything is nicely labeled because otherwise I wouldn't have a clue what any of this is. Conveyor rail, so we'll keep these together since they're the same thing. We have the front and the back frame, which I'll keep grouped together. This is the aluminum sheets, but I'm going to keep it inside the foam because I like how the foam is labeled. Here we have more conveyor rails. So it looks like you should have 4 conveyor rails total. A front frame, a back frame, a left frame, a right frame, aluminum slats, and the rails. Let's pull out the main piece. The conveyor roller. So now we have a good view of everything that we're working with. Looks a little less intimidating now that it's all spread out and labeled and sorted. Now let's take a look at our hardware package. So we have some zip ties, a screwdriver, a motor patch cord. There should be 4 cable clamps, a strip of Velcro, 8 M3 screws, and 10 M4 screws. The M4 screws are bigger than the M3 screws. And some grease. We're going to start by working with the left and right frames and the front and back frames. And I'm going to move everything else off of the table so we have room to work. So I'm just going to pile it all on top of here. So put the left on the left and the right on the right. And the front on the front, and the back on the back. Nice easy square. You want to turn the front and back frames so that the plush is facing up and these grooves are facing towards the inside. So once again, plush up and grooves to the inside. So you're going to take the rear frame, which has these 2 holes right here for screws, align it up with the right frame with the 2 holes more towards the center. And then you're going to use your M4 screws, which are the bigger ones, to screw it in. And I'm going to grab 4 screws because we're going to need 2 here and 2 here. And my handy little screwdriver. It helps if you come to the front frame to find the hole, because I couldn't really see it from the back. Screw it in a little bit, and then I'll screw them both in all the way at the end. I also think it's easier if you put the screw onto the screwdriver before you put it in. Alright, that's nice and snug. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So right here is where we're screwing it in. You get a much better view if you stand at the front of the frame. You might have to get down at eye level with the table so you can see what you're doing. Now we're going to do the same thing with the front frame. Remember, you want the fuzzy side up with the grooves towards the center. So grab yourself 4 more of the bigger M4 screws. I think I need to come around to the back now so I can see. Definitely helps to look from the inside. So when you're working on the back one, you want to stand in front, and when you're working on the front one, you want to stand in the back. Then you can see where the holes are. The next thing that we're going to do is flip this whole thing upside down, and then turn it, because the front part is going to clip into here. You can see there's a screw hole here and here, and also here and here. Before we connect the 2 pieces, we're going to open this up And we're going to feed this wire through this little tunnel right here. Feed it through until it comes out over here. Push it all the way through this tunnel. Then it pops out the bottom and there's a hole right here that we're going to put it through. So this is what your setup should look like now. Now we're going to connect this to this. If you look over here, there's some wider gaps. So we need to slide these through the wider gap. Line it up with the gap and slide it in until the two screw holes align. Grab two more of your M4 screws and screw them in. One there and one there. I had a really hard time getting my screws to screw in all the way at this step, so I took these pieces apart and I wanted to screw in a screw here just to see if I could get it in all the way, to see if it was an alignment problem. And I'm still having a really hard time getting the screw in. It just seems like the screw is too big for the hole. Ugh. I have my husband working on this one over here with an Allen wrench, and it looks like it's working a little bit better.
Yeah, after you screw it in one time good, it should be easier when it's in the machine.
WeCreat, if you're watching this, I think you need to make these screw holes just a little bit bigger. If you have an Allen wrench, that will help you turn these screws easier than using this little screwdriver. Both of these screws started off with blue stuff. After I screwed in the one on the left, the blue stuff came off. The blue stuff is Loctite. It looks like they put on too thick of a glob of Loctite on these screws at the factory. Here's some of the Loctite debris that came off when I was trying to screw it in. So let's slide this back in and try to screw it into place again. I don't think you would ever be able to do this without an Allen wrench. Another thing that you might need to do to help the screw go in better is to lift this side up a little bit so that the holes align up a little bit straighter. Because when it's flat, it's at an angle, but if you tip up the piece a little bit, it makes it straighter. Next, you want to take this conveyor roller and slide it in right here. Take the crumb tray out of your WeCreat Vision. There's two things that you can do to protect your laser from damaging the table. You can take the crumb tray from your laser and put it in here with the handle facing towards the back. Or, that's what these aluminum sheets are for. You open these up and don't use your crumb tray because you want to keep it in your laser. I guess you wouldn't be using the crumb tray because you're putting your laser on top of this, right? On the back, there's these little grooves on the bottom. You can slide these into the grooves. And then all the way over. Next, you're going to open up the package that's labeled aluminum lamella slat. We have a bunch of these little slats. On the top, you'll see these grooves. These are going to fit into the grooves. If you look at these slats, they come to an angle, so you want to have the skinny, pointy side facing up, the fatter side on the bottom. Pop all of these into there. The skinny side facing up. also helpful to take this wire and pull it out. Next, we're going to attach the conveyor rails. Grab 2 of the conveyor rails. You'll see there's a bigger opening here and here, so these slide into that opening. There we go. Now you can slide it in. Don't worry about the screw holes. Those are for connecting conveyor rails to more conveyor rails. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So let's move this whole thing down the table. And grab 2 more conveyor rails. Make sure you have the wheels facing up. This is a pretty big setup, but I guess that's what you need if you want to engrave monster-sized pieces of wood. This is what it looks like all put together. You can see that it's pretty big, so keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out where you want to put this in your craft room. I have this big, messy craft room table over here that now I'm going to have to clean off and find a new home for my heat presses because I'm going to have to make this a designated auto pass-through feeder table. So maybe I'll be moving my WeCreat Vision from here over to this table and putting my heat presses from here over there. I can never seem to get my craft room right. I think I have it how I want it, and then I have to switch everything around. After you have your machine on its side, you want to look at these cables over here. The instructional video said to get cable ties and make sure they're all secured, but mine are already nicely secured inside the machine. Nothing's hanging out, so I don't have to do anything else there, thankfully. The next thing that you want to pay attention to is the feet on your laser. So there's 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 here. Those feet are going to line up with these slats on your auto pass-through feeder. You want to make sure that the WeCreat logo on your machine is facing this, and you also don't want a gap here. You have to slide your machine all the way to the front. So my husband will help me with that step. Push it all the way forward. Perfect. The feet are in the grooves just like they need to be. Fits really nice and snug. The last step is to open this up, and then you want to take this cable and plug it into where the rotary usually goes. So right there. Some of my slats got knocked out too, so just fix those if they popped out. You don't want a lot of slack to be hanging out, so if you have a whole lot of wire, just push it through. Then you want to take one of these cable ties, wrap it around, feed it through, and then one end is sticky, so you can peel this off. And I'm going to stick it right here, nice and far back. That's it. This is the hardware that I have left after assembling everything. If you're wondering what this is, like I was, WeCreat made their auto pass-through feeder so that it's compatible with multiple other types of lasers. So you can use it on a laser that's not a WeCreat laser. If your laser has this port right here, you can plug this into it and this into the conveyor, and that's how it will work. Now my WeCreat has a new home. I moved it to my old dining room table. I would definitely recommend having a sturdy table about 6 feet long to accommodate this auto pass-through feeder. I plan on keeping my WeCreat on here all the time. I put the crumb tray back inside and the grates so I can still use it even on top of here. If I decide that I want to use this, I'll just take out the crumb tray and the grates and then I can use it. It looks nice and solid and well put together, and I'm really excited to try it out.